Hello, this is Livia Connell, founder of Conscious Wealth Builders, and I have the honor and privilege to interview these two amazing folks. This is James, this is Kara Dentley. Yeah, and first I just want to acknowledge both of you. You know, I just shared with you a moment. So you're obviously married, and I got to meet you at David Fagan's event.
Yes.
And such an honor to cross paths with you because you're in this beautiful communion. You don't even need to really talk about, who you are inside of a relationship, but you walk into a room and the way that you just edify her as your wife and you stand powerfully by her side is so moving to me because I see that there's a lack of that kind of courtship inside of couples and relationships. So I just really want to acknowledge that. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So thank you for being here. And, like I said, I just am hearing really about you and just all the amazing things that you're up to in the world. So you really empower, entrepreneurs to step into becoming speakers, authors, experts. So share with us who you are, your story a little bit, and what you do.
Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for having me. My journey has been a long one that continues. And I'll tell you, I started as a restaurant manager. At the age of 17, I got a job in high school. My mom was a single parent working in a grocery store. I have three sisters, three amazing sisters. Yeah. And we couldn't afford some of the things in life, the extra things, even sometimes gym shoes, in life. If I got a gym shoe, it usually came with a whistle and a piece of candy or something like that. But we had a lot of love in the home, and I was never afraid to go out there and work hard. So I got a job in high school. I worked from 6 in the evening. I got home at 3:30 in the morning. I had to be at high school at 8:30 every single morning. So I learned commitment, and I learned understanding. I learned how to live my word in that aspect very, very early.
Wow.
And I was just wanted to provide. I wanted to buy my mother a house. I just wanted to make my mother proud. And when I became 18, they made me the general manager of this restaurant. And I memorized everything. I memorized every operation and procedure manual, the policy and procedure manual, the repair and maintenance manual. I memorized everything. I could not get it out of my head. I always had this gift to retain information if I wanted to.
Yeah.
So they made me the general manager. I'm 18 years old. I'm the youngest manager in the company, one of the top managers in the region. And I decided to move to Texas to go into full service to give these big restaurants, steak, lobster, prime rib, 150 employees, multi-million-dollar entities. And I learned about business, but more importantly, I learned about people. When you're managing and you're directing and developing 150, 200 people, and you leave Chicago and go to Dallas, and then you go to Houston, but then you go to Midland, Odessa, and Abilene. It's a different world, but I found that people are people. People are people. They all want the same things. Everybody wants the same things.
Everybody wants the same things.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah, so it's never a difference in the power of human connection. So after running that company for maybe 5 years, I decided to become an entrepreneur, and I found out when I owned a business, it would own me. Because I would work 7 days a week, sometimes 17 hours a day. And I was sacrificing my family and my life trying to make it happen. I found myself trapped many times. It was very rewarding, but it's very difficult, especially because most people don't have the financial backing they need to start a business, to stay in business, and to grow a business.
Yes.
Because if you grow too fast, you can implode.
Yeah.
So I've had experiences in all three of those genres. And I decided, I need to start over and just totally mess my life up. I was just so burnt out. I moved to Atlanta to start all over again. And someone tried to trick me into something called MLM, home-based business. And I wanted to have nothing to do with it whatsoever. And I turned this gentleman down 4 times. The last time, he got me in his car and told me we were going to go to TGI Fridays. And he kidnapped me and put me in a meeting. And I was livid. I made a decision I would never speak to him for the rest of my life. I'm 32. I don't want to be here. And they introduced a gentleman who was 20 years old that was going to talk about how we would get on the other side of money. At the end of that conversation, I was afraid not to try it for 2 reasons. They said I could do it part-time. Then they said that there would be a handful of people, maybe 2 or 3, that in 2 years would never have to worry about money another day in their life. And I knew I did not want to work 65 hours a week till I was 65 years of age. I knew I couldn't do that. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that's what I couldn't do. And I dove into that back in May 26th of 94. By January 13th of 95, I was able to walk away from my job and went on to build a multi-million-dollar business all over the world. And the rewarding thing that I found was not the money that I made, but that coming from my background, that I was able to do something I never thought I could do. I wasn't trained to do it. I didn't have the confidence to do it. But I evolved into a speaker. and a trainer and a coach and a psychologist. You know, when you're working with thousands and tens of thousands of people,
Of course,
they
yeah.
can drive you crazy if you're allowed to.
Yeah.
And I've been there too, I'll tell you that. And that's a fun ride, but you learn through everything. And you know, I learned a long time ago, what you live, you learn, what you learn, you practice, and what you practice, you become. So I was able to deep sea dive into this world of personal development. And I began to learn and study, and then it came back came that ability to recall and remember information. And then I began to reflect on the people who come before me, and so many people who had so much adversity, that overcome that adversity to do great things in life. And I just wanted to be one of those people that just said, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Does my life matter?
Yeah.
And I realized at the end of the day, it's not how did you die, but how did you live? Not what did you gain, but what did you give? You see, these are the merits that measure the worth of every man and every woman, regardless of birth. Now, what was their station, but had their heart? And how did they play their God-given part? And now I get a chance to train speakers and teach them to speak with passion and be fully self-expressed and just be free and get out there and shake off the fear, because it's not about you. It's about what you can give. And to understand that no matter where you are in life, you're perfect within your imperfection. You're good enough, more than enough, you've always been enough. That's my story.
Drop mic. Enough said. So yummy, so much juice in that, you know. So the summit really came out of my own struggle of, you know, being young. I had an experience of having a glimpse of my purpose. Of course, you know, just making a difference, but really impacting the lives of a lot of people. And so that sparked something within me. And so I started searching for, like, what is that, right?
Yeah.
But instead, you know, because when I was a youngster, we were raised in, you know, a poor home. Like, my mom was a single mom raising, you know, 3 girls. So I decided at a young age I'd do whatever it takes to never be broke.
Yeah.
And so I was on a mission to make money. And that was it. That was my focus. That was like, yeah, I'm going to have the mansion. I'm going to have the cars. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have that. I'm going to be independent, powerful, whatever, you know, blah, blah, blah. And just was so unfulfilled and not satisfied. You know, I was making money and I was alone, isolated, you know, using drugs and alcohol to try to cope with that pain. You know, so a product of, you know, just years of doing transformational work. I was having breakthroughs, you know, here and there. But this year I said, you know what? I'm giving up that lie of I need to make a bunch of money in order to really go out and fulfill why I feel like I've been sent to this planet. And I feel like so many people are dealing with that. Yeah. Right? So many people are dealing with, well, I got to pay the bills. I got to take care of my family. I got to do this. I got to do that. So we put what we feel is our purpose on the back burner. Like, we'll get to that someday. But that someday never comes. And I said, okay, I'm 29. I'm still young. Right? I don't want to be 60 looking back saying, man, I shoulda, woulda, coulda. Don't want to do that. And so that's why I have folks like you, because you are the embodiment of living your passion, living your purpose, doing good in the world, making a difference, beautiful couple, you know, just empowering each other. Like, you don't even got to talk. You just, the way you walk, the way you move, the way your beingness is the embodiment of that, because it's who you're being. And your success is just a result of all the amazing things you're doing. So can you speak to any of that, like as far as maybe how you, like, purpose and alignment, and how does one really create a business and have it be successful like you were talking about, and have it be sustainable?
Yes. Well, I'm going to speak a little bit, then I'm going to turn over to my lovely wife.
Yes, please.
I'll tell you, and we'll tell you a little bit about how this came to be and how many years this has been a part of my life and my journey. First of all, you can monetize anything that you're great at. Making money is very easy. It's just really about creating value for people. Creating value. And you have to be willing to do the hard work, the grunt work, and not be afraid of making mistakes. But you have to get around people who have gone a journey. If you can't get around people, you can read books. I mean, it started for me in books. To read Think and Grow Rich, What Makes the Great Great. You know, to read books that just empower the heart and the spirit, and to read stories about people, ordinary people who overcome adversity. I was homeless at one point. I've been through addiction. And with that, I found the greatest victory, because I realized that almost everybody was sick anyway. Everybody had a challenge, addicted to something, because we don't want to feel any longer. The thing that makes us work is that I had to learn for myself is it's really how to love a person for them and not for me. Because I don't put stipulations on her and what she has to do. I give it because this is who I am and how I show up. It's hard enough for me to manage myself. And if I love a person, well, let me say this. I love her for her, not for me. I love her for her. So that means the way I extend love is always It's with she being the focus. I don't need that to fulfill me. She gives it back anyway. You see? So because if I don't think that way, if I don't get what I think I want, I may react. And you know, they say in some of the books we may read, when things go wrong, don't go wrong with it. Yeah. And sometimes something can happen and we begin to spin and we'll tear the house down. If I can tell you a really quick story.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, please.
Here's a story. A man and a woman, they're at a Christmas party. And they're drinking, having a good time, and the boss hits on the wife. The man immediately has a feeling of a loss of respect, trust, of love, of being good enough. He doesn't feel that he's good enough and worthy enough and deserving enough, because if he was, then how could this happen? How could this man do this to him and embarrass him that way? He won't take it out on the boss because of the consequences. He's confused, he's hurt, he's afraid, but he takes it out on the wife. So he goes home and they begin to get in an argument. She doesn't know what he's talking about. It's ridiculous, but they go back and forth, and then they go to bed and she faces this way and he faces that way and he's mad. The next day he goes to work, he's not done. He tells his friends. After work, they all meet up to have a drink. His wife calls him and says, where are you? I'm having a couple of cocktails with the guys. When are you coming home? I'll call you later. She calls back at 11 p.m. He turns his phone off. He walks in the house, smelling of alcohol. Now he's all in a touchy-feely mood and she doesn't want to have it. So now he tries to touch and feel on her, and she turns her back. She's rejecting him now because she's sick of her. You've been out all night drinking. We need to talk through some things. You didn't even acknowledge me. So now he feels rejected. Again, a loss of feeling of a lack of love, control, that you're good enough, that you don't matter. So now you have to prove it. The thinker thinks, the prover proves. So now he goes through this cycle and he begins to prove it, and he begins to share his challenges and the challenges in the relationship with someone else, and so does she. They ended up getting divorced. Why? Because the boss hit on the wife at the Christmas party. Something happened, and he happened with it. And I've learned not to happen when things happen, to control it, to stay in my space, to stay in my lane, to line up every single day and stay lined up. And the great thing about having Kara in my life is that she brings me back, she brings me peace. And we're so much alike that I get a charge of just watching her wake up on fire. She'll wake up and just an idea start coming out of her head and just going, and because we get it. But I learned we have so many goals and things we want to accomplish, and we had this established before we even begun the journey. So every single day we wake up passionate, more and more in love every single day, and we just flat out get it done. And we want to be the examples for people, and we're humbled and grateful and excited about just being in this space to share it with anybody.
Totally. Yeah. Well, and that's what I, said, because I aspire to be in a powerhouse relationship, right? Like you guys, you're a powerhouse, right? You edify her. You don't allow her powerness to intimidate you, and you just embrace it. You're a powerful guy. You're successful. She's a powerful woman. You're successful, and you embrace each other. You don't knock each other down. There's no competition. Like you've got to be in the kitchen, cooking with the babies and all that. She gets to show up powerful in the world, and do her thing too. And you obviously fully support
I can
that.
cook, and I can change diapers. I can cook.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Guys can
Wash
participate
dishes.
in that stuff too.
I can't iron, but I don't wear anything that needs to be ironed.
So that's awesome. So yeah, the summit's really been about, purpose and all these things, but I was sharing with you earlier, living a business life, it's, having your personal life work too, to have you be successful in business, right? And you guys obviously do, you're well, I'm sure that there's, got your stuff going on, but what do you think is the recipe to a successful relationship as you two have created so wonderfully? Yes, I'll let her take that one over.
She's right all the time. And she really is.
Write that down.
I think, well, really what it is more appreciation for someone being there. And I don't feel like he's obligated to do anything. And that's where a lot of people go wrong in relationships. They feel like, well, you're my husband, or you're my wife, or you're my mom, or you're my dad, and you're supposed to do this. I'm grateful for anyone that's in my life in whatever way they show up. And so every day, like it is not a day that go by. Like some days throughout the day, I'm just like, I love you, because I do. And it's just appreciation, and I still say thank you. And I would always say thank you because of that fact. And I know that just because we are married, you still have to continue to do things that got you married in the first place. And I just realized that, when a person shows up in your life and they say, I want to be in your life, it's because of who you are. Yeah. So you just, you become appreciative of the fact that, hey, this person appreciates me for me. Yeah. I don't have to change. And I think one of the key things with us is that we were friends first.
Yes.
And so when you're friends, there are no airs. You're not like this. Hey, this is the first day. Let me have everything together and let me put on this front and let me act like this. No, we were friends. We were talking business. We were handling business. And so I think that was some of it too that made him say, you know what? And I've always said that whoever my husband is, he is watching. Yeah. And he's going to show up and just say, I need you in my life. You are my wife. You are my partner. And that is what I've always said. And one of the other things is I knew the type of man that I wanted in my life. I knew that. Okay. And when he showed up, I knew that he had everything, all of those attributes. But the wrong thing that a lot of women do, they throw themselves at the man. Yeah. And that can make them push back because they are the seekers. Of course. Right? They're the hunters.
I like how you said seekers. Yeah. Typically it's pursuers or whatever, but I like that they're seeking.
Yes. Yeah, they're seeking us.
Well, and thank you. So what is exactly that men are seeking?
But hey, and that's the flip side.
I don't know, Tess her.
I always knew, someone ambitious, someone who could be a life partner for me. And so I had to show up a certain way. I had to become that woman that I would expect that kind of man to want. I had to become her.
Oh, gosh dang, that's so good because I feel like so often we're like, well, I have to be with the right guy, but it's really who do you have to become?
You have to become
to attract the right person.
Right, and a lot of times people do a lot on the outside and it's really the inside that people are attracted to. Where's your heart? Who are you? When he showed up and told me one thing for sure, he said, you know what, you bring me peace. Then he said, I know who you are. And I said, well, of course you know who I am. I'm at that time, I'm Carol Scott. Yeah. And he said, no. I know who you are. And he pointed to my heart. And I knew right then, I said, I almost melted. I said, you know what? That's real. That's real. And so when you have somebody that show up in your life like that, sometimes you have to take yourself out of the picture because for me, I just decided that I would just become a better me. Yeah. And so I was so busy still working on me that I could have missed it. But then I had to just shut down for a minute, all of well, I'm too busy, I'm too this, I'm too that. I said, but what if this is everything that you were asking for? Yeah. And so I had to take a step back, and Lord knows, here we are.
Okay, don't tell you all of our business. And let me if you don't mind, I'll twist this into business because
of course.
Wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
And you take that same culture, that same philosophy to everything that you do because you create communities and environments, even in your workplace. Sure. You do the same exact thing. You create the energy that attracts people to you, that attracts the right things that you want. And even when times get tough, you're able to plow through because you understand the storm doesn't come to stay, it comes to pass. Right. The storm will move on. And then how are you going to be standing at the end of that? So when the storm comes, you can just plant your feet and say, okay, come on. Just come on because you know where you're going. Jim Rohn always said it's never the blowing of the wind, it's the set of the sail. Because the wind blows on us all. But if you got that sail set and you have an idea about what you want, and I always encourage people to first of all do some self-inspection. First of all, try to get clarity of first, where are you? And be very honest. Where are you? When you go through addiction, I don't know if you've gone through it.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
The first step one in alcoholism is I acknowledge I am and my life has become unmanageable. Yep. Okay. And when you admit that, then you can start taking responsibility for it. Then you can come out of the darkness, out of the closet. You can get into the light and stand boldly in front of that, and not be afraid of the shortcomings you have, because those are the integral things that allow you to empower and give hope to so many people who are all dressed up, but they hurt. And they say, look, if they can do it, I can do it too. Yeah. And then you find out that, wow, maybe my journey that I hated about myself had great purpose. Maybe it was really all worth it. And the second thing, have clarity on where you really want to go. That's true. We're very fickle people. We go to McDonald's all of our lives. You drive to the drive-thru and they say, can I take your order? Let me see, let me think, it's the same menu. It's been there since we're 8 years old. Come on. The only thing extra is yogurt and a Southwest salad. That's about it. And the thing is that, and we make the same decision anyway. So the thing is, get clarity on where you want to go. What do you want in your life? And at the end of the day, it's not really things. It's not the money. We just want to show up and be somebody. We want to know we count, that we mattered, our life meant something. At the end of the day, I'm okay. There's somebody, I'm good enough for somebody to love me. Yeah. And when you can do that, you can learn to love other people for them. And there's no selfishness in it. It's hard enough to deal with how you show up. I can't fix anybody else. I can't control anybody else. If I could have fixed people, I surely would have fixed my parents. Yeah. I mean, they made me go to bed at 8 o'clock. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I would have fixed my children. These are crazy people. But I can work on myself. And through that, I've been being able to be an example for my children, be an example even for my mom, be an example for my friends, and be an example for my family.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do.
That's
is
beautiful.
work on it and keep growing.
That's amazing. So what are you guys currently working on right now? I know you got some things happening with the speakers, coaching speakers, and getting people on stages.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, in my journey, I learned not only how to become a speaker and become fully self-expressed and be able to have a gift to touch the spirit and hearts of people, but also that I've been able to teach it.
Yeah.
And to understand personality traits and the psychology of it. And to teach people how to speak from wherever they are and how to bring other things out of them so they can be a communicator and paint it with broad strokes, which means they can captivate and hold any audience. They know what they're doing, how to write it, how to touch and be fully self-expressed and overcome the fears in it. And in my camp, I have a 6-day camp and I have a 2-day camp, but really giving everybody all the tools they need, not just, and it's an action camp, so it's very interactive. It's a lot of work. It's 12, 13-hour days, but grueling. They
I'm
hate
in.
me.
Let's do this.
But I want to know that they know it, that they own it, and I teach them the psychologies of it, and they work on their message, they work on their programs, I teach them different ways to market it, how to set up a business with it, how to get work, and then we help them after the camp. We do their media, their marketing, everything they need to build their database, everything we try to cover as much as we possibly can. We always go in a deep sea dive and do personal development to becoming more of who you can possibly be. You know, they say if you want to go fast, you go by yourself. If you want to go far, you go with a group. But if you want to go fast and far, you go with a great group. So how do we build the right relationships and show up on the highest level? And here's the biggest thing, the dream big, the dream big. Not to be afraid to dream big. It's not about the money, it's what can be created. The full extent of human expression. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's when you're alive, what possibility exists and what life lives. You thrive. There's the sunshine for a blade of grass. I'm excited.
Yeah, you both are so grounded in who you are. Like you are so living your purpose, and it's clear. Just being in your space, I'm like, wow, these are some grounded folks. Like you're grounded, you're solid, you're humble, you're loving, you're kind, you're generous. It's just your way of being, you know? And so you can be that and be successful in life, you know? So that's awesome.
That's what being successful in life is.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I know you've got some projects that you're doing too. So would you like to share about those?
Oh yeah, the one with the Limitless.
Yes, we
women's
speak about the women's conferences.
program.
Yes.
It is so necessary. We, you know, as women, and it's not to. We don't come to male bash at all.
Of
you know,
course.
just at all. I mean, there's no such thing as male bashing.
Yeah.
Because you know, we as women, we need to hold each other accountable. We need to come together. We need to talk about things that just men would never understand.
Sure.
Sometimes we need to be there for each other, you know, of course, to lift each other up. Sometimes we need to be there for each other to check each other.
Yeah, for sure. You already know.
And
Yes.
it's just truth.
Yes.
And it's not to check somebody from the point of view that it becomes
No, to
like
build
out of
you
animosity,
up.
just
Sure.
to make you better.
Yes.
You know, and if the better I am, the better I can help you become. The better you are, the better you can help me become. You can help pull out my strengths. You can say, Karen, you know, you can, you know, that's what friends are for. And, you know, business partners and, you know, and all of these things, you just work together and you collaborate on so many different things because we all have gifts. And it's about finding those gifts. And sometimes it takes a friend, it takes another woman, or anybody for that matter. But when women come together, so much that we can do.
So
It's so much that we could do. We are the givers. We birth life. And we birth life into things. We birth life into everything. Even in
You
relationships.
see the passion here?
I do. I'm like,
Limitless.
woo! I'm like,
Limitless was designed to
I want to go
honor
run a
women.
marathon. There's so much energy here. Woo!
There's so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so much possibility.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, anything is possible. That's what Limitless is all about. Where anything is possible. That we live in a world right now where women are not paid equally to men,
Yes.
but women are the biggest consumers.
Well, and too, like for instance, even just this online summit, I noticed I was having a lot of men, successful men, come on board. I'm like, man, okay, whoa, I gotta
Yeah.
get my women in. What's
Yeah.
going on? But I find that even just the stages that I speak on, that there's typically more men
Yeah.
than there are women. There may be
Yeah.
just like one or two women. So
We're out there, but you know,
this
some
is
of
a,
us,
yeah.
we're busy.
Well, you tell you this. Well, that's why we flip the
Let's-
script. Because
yes.
when I speak on the big stages, you're right, it's full of men, and there's very few women of any color at all. So my first focus, being raised by an amazing mother and 3 sisters, and having an amazing wife, and where we live right now, the time that we live right now, is to really to push women up and to honor women, and then help create. We have the Honorable Man Award. and now to create an Honorable Woman Award. So women now can have a creed and code that they strive just to be better. Not to say you're going to be perfect, but strive just to be better, that you can do it, to encourage them. I believe when you treat a person as they are, they may remain the same. When you treat them as they could be, I like to watch them become what they should be. And that's what it's really all about. So the Limitless is there for women to empower one another. And I want to give a platform so when I'm training speakers, that women can have a platform they can get there, that they can own, and it's theirs. And to teach them how to take that all over the world and create other Limitless conferences all over the world, and then see where we can go from there. But I want them to be the brain trust of that. I want them to take it and put wings on it and soar with that. So we have the Limitless, and then we have the Inspired Conference, and we have the Inspired to Speak speaker camps.
So do you do the limits? You co-create on the Limitless conference? Is
Yes.
that okay? Cool. And is it just for women then?
The Limitless is just for women.
Okay.
Well, men can come, but men can't speak.
Oh, okay,
Zip it up.
cool.
We
And they
serve.
have to come accompanied by a woman.
A woman has to give them a ticket. That woman has to bring them in.
That is so cool. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
Like that kind of model. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the mission and vision of that?
Of Limitless?
Yeah.
The vision is to create a worldwide entity. See, I believe in joint ventures, cooperation, and
Yeah.
value-based relationships. And when you
Yes.
get together and you can relax for a minute and understand you don't have to do it by yourself, that no one would ever reach their fullest potential alone, that we need one another, but people need you,
Yeah.
that you count. So first of all, to help people know and remember and own the fact that they matter, that they have a voice, that they count, and that people are counting on them.
Yep.
And the women hold the key to everything that happens in every generation, because last time I checked, every man or woman that was born through a woman.
That's true.
So we've yet to give birth to one yet. You know, I used to joke and tell my daughter, I say, yeah, your mother carried you for 9 months, but I carried you for 27 years. But I was playing because that's, the woman is what brings it out, where it begins at, right there, the nurture. You know, when men become successful, they say, hi mom, this is for you, mom. It kind of goes back. If you're grounded and you have the right ethics and right values, then it always goes back to that truth. So the thing with Limitless was really to create an international organization,
Yeah.
okay, international club, international entity, an international community where people can come together and explore their ideas and learn from one another. And understand that we're all here together, no matter what your beliefs are. There's a common thread through everyone.
Yeah.
And you come together, then perhaps we can bring more love, more peace, more understanding to the things that some of us as men, we just don't get yet. So that's what it's about.
That's so beautiful. It's amazing. And so you're going to give a free gift away to the viewers here to help support them. So can you just share a little bit about that?
Well, yes, I have several programs. So one of them is called Mentor to Millions. And it's really about how to build a successful home-based business, no matter what it is. Even if you want to start a mortgage company from your home, whatever it may be, how to do that. So I put together 4 CDs and workbooks that go along with it, and we used to sell it for like $300. And people love the information, they love the content. And so I like to offer that for free for anyone to go to my website, jamesdentley.com, D-E-N-T-L-E-Y, jamesdentley.com. You click on free gift up at the top, and you get that there. And once you get into that base, we'll begin to send you on an ongoing basis our Inspire CDs. We'll send you some of the things that Kara's doing as well. And we'll continue just to feed you at no cost whatsoever. We'll just continue to feed you some of the things that we're blessed to just be able to own and share, and some of the interviews we've done with people like yourself and some of the great people at this conference that we're at today. And just share it out there with the world to get the message out.
That's beautiful.
That hope is alive.
Yeah.
And love always wins.
It does. And I get that you two are so the embodiment of that. So refreshing, so awesome to meet you. Just honor both of you for who you are in the world, the leaders that you are, for really taking the torch and just like making it happen. And it's just an honor to know you two. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in and watching this interview. We've got some amazing speakers, as you can see, that are on this online summit. So I hope you're getting lots of value, and stay tuned to what's next.